Hi friends and welcome. This is Alema G here with Manuia Life, and last week we talked a little bit about the recruiting process and what your child can do to help himself get recruited, and today we're going to take it a step further to help you understand how to manage expectations with the recruiting process. So Alema, let's start from the beginning. You've got a child, they love playing a certain sport. How do you know if they're good enough to maybe play in college?
One of the things you can do is your child receiving accolades. Okay. Are they the player of the game? Are they all-state, all-region? Are they all-American? Do they even start on the team? Do they get much playing time? Those are all indicators to see if they're playing well and have a knack for the game.
So are you saying if they're not an all-American, there's not a college that they could play for?
All I'm saying is that no one's noticing them yet.
Okay.
And maybe because of their play, it could be playing time, could be for whatever reason. But if you feel your player's an all-state player, a most valuable player, then it should show on the film. Coaches look at and determine whether they're good players to bring on their team.
So let's say your child doesn't play for a big school, maybe a small school. How do they get noticed?
It's the same. So the access to technology, the access to a software HUDL, which is how all coaches view players, is usually fairly easy to get into. And so once you have your own account or your own HUDL account, you can actually put your film on the HUDL account. And that's the way coaches are able to see every player, no matter where they play, big school or small school.
Okay, nice. So you have these players coming from all different teams. What is the standard, I guess, nationally that kids can kind of gauge themselves?
A good way of doing that is going to camps, where you can go to a camp and you feel you're just as good as the other players, whether they be Power 5, Mountain West Conference, or whatever it is. You can go to those camps and go against the best and do one-on-one and know for yourself and to show other people that you can play at that level. So that's a good way of trying to level the playing field and say, hey, I play at a small school, small state, doesn't get much recognition, but you can go out there and really show yourself.
So the next question I have for you, Alema, is how do you know if a coach is interested in your son or daughter?
Well, you'll know right away. So if you're if you're at a camp, if you've gone to a university's camp and and you're performing really well, the coaches will reach out to you right there at the camp and talk to you. They're able to talk to you and get to know you a little bit better. And when they're reaching out to you and talking to you, they're interested. They can't talk to everybody in the camp, but if a coach is trying to talk to you at a camp, that's a good sign. These camps that are put on by the universities are great opportunities. If you have your eye on a university, then you probably should be going to that camp.
Their camp. Okay.
Their camp. Resources are limited, right? You can only go to a few camps. You got to be very selective. But one of those things that assure you being seen by the coach you want to be seen by is by going to their camp.
Yep.
And so
put your feet right in front of them, right?
And that'd probably be the priority camp for the summer, right? Pick the school that you want to go to. Let that coach see you. Then you'll know whether you'll be able to draw interest.
All right. So we're at the camp. What are some of the things that you can do at the camp, say, to gain the attention of coaches?
Great question. Go right up to the coaches that are coaching you, the ones that you know, and introduce yourself. Introduce yourself, tell them your name, where you're from. I'm looking to play football. I'm really interested in your school.
So you're telling a child to go and exert themselves and talk to a coach. Isn't that a little intimidating?
It is. But the stakes are high, right? You're playing for a full ride scholarship. You end up doing things out of your comfort zone.
Kids, you got to have that mindset. Not only are you there to just attend the camp, but you're there to introduce yourself, to make a connection with the coach. Okay, so as a parent, let's say someone expressed interest in your child. Does that mean they really want you? Does that mean you're on a list of, 300? I mean, what realistically are we looking at when a coach expresses interest in our child?
We as parents want an offer, right? Okay. So an offer is not made, then there's no offer.
So what you're saying is just because a coach reaches out to you or maybe express interest, that's not an offer.
Right. If they're just talking to you and say, hey, I want to introduce myself, I just want to talk to you. We saw you play, you're playing well. And but if the word offer does not come out of his mouth, it's not an offer.
Let's talk a little bit about unofficial versus an official visit. What would an official visit look like?
So unofficial visits, you're just calling in and asking for a tour of facilities or campus. An official visit has to do a lot with NCAA rules. So there's only so many official visits that a team could have in a year. And if you get one of those official visits, that means that a team is serious about having you sign with them. So if you get an official visit, it's awesome. It's for a scholarship player to come in, see the campus, spend a few days with the coaches and the campus.
Do mom and dad get to come along, or is it just for the recruit?
It's a lot of fun. So if these official visits, and those schools are trying to just bridge the gap so that you're very clear about the campus, the culture, the staff, the team. All those things are really important to you. So the official visits are wonderful, and they try to feed you. And usually the really good Power 5 conferences, it's
all about the food now.
If they haven't put 10 pounds on you after
in one
weekend, they're not doing their job.
Oh, geez.
So it's one of those wonderful opportunities that where you get to really celebrate all the hard work that you've done. If you're getting an official visit and you're going to these schools, they really try to lay out the red carpet for you.
I love that, how you say it's a celebration. I mean, yes, there's a lot of pressure, right, in this decision making and getting the offer that you're hoping for from the school you're hoping for. But having kids at that stage and seeing them kind of go through that process, it's such a celebration as a family, because mom and dad are there. Sometimes a younger brother or younger sister is tagging along, and you're really elevating your whole family to an area that it's like, man, we've kind of come this far, and it's so cool. So enjoy the process, as you're going through this, even though your mind is this right fit? Is this going to happen? Are we going to make it work? But just, I guess, gratitude for where you're at.
Yeah, college football is a blessing and a privilege in and of itself. But to get that official visit and have people fawn over you and try to make connections, it's a good it's a good recognition
Absolutely.
of all the things you sacrificed for, all the things you worked hard for, and it's great. It's great to get those types of opportunities.
Wonderful. So you get this official visit, and then comes an official offer, or is that before, after? How does that work?
So the official offer can happen at any time.
Okay.
It could happen your junior year. It could happen your freshman year. And it can happen as late as the end of your senior season.
Okay.
Official offers are designed for 2 signing dates. So there's signing day number 1, which is in December.
Okay.
And then you have signing day number 2, which most do their signing in February.
So why do they have 2 signing dates? Isn't that a little confusing, or is one better than the other?
Well, it's a lot for a lot of flexibility. So a lot of kids are done. They're done with the process. They're done looking at schools. They want to move on. In fact, they want to graduate in December.
Oh, okay.
Sign, and then enter school in January.
Oh, so what is the advantage of your senior being on a college campus in January?
So when they start school in January, they can train with the team in January.
Wow.
Attend spring practices in January. Your progression into the college football game is starting in January instead of July. That's the advantage.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about your child, the interest a coach would have, and the communication that kind of takes place. We talked about an official offer, official visits. What are the, last bit of information that we could share with our viewers to kind of manage expectations?
Right, and so everyone's trying to get the attention of the coach. And the most simplest way is when we turn on that film, it should be amazing film. Don't put in plays that are so-so.
Right.
First 5 plays should be just your most remarkable plays. That could give us a gauge for just what the possibilities are with this athlete.
Okay.
And then we'll watch full film. so that we can kind of see just where you are at as far as your understanding of football, your development as far as mental toughness, all those types of things.
So we're grateful that we're able to visit with you again and talk a little bit more about recruiting. If you like what you see, please join us again next week when we'll wrap up our recruiting with an official video with a coach. Manuia.